The late nights had become almost invisible, part of the background noise of our lives. I didn't notice at first. There was always some excuse, some explanation that smoothed over the tension in my chest. Workload, meetings, deadlines. I trusted her. Or at least I trusted the version of her I wanted to believe in. But lately the absences started to feel patterned, too consistent to be coincidence. I could almost sense it before the doubt became conscious, a tightening in my gut I could no longer ignore. I didn't confront her immediately. I didn't yell. I didn't follow or spy. I simply gathered facts. The Keycard reports, neatly printed, became my truth in tangible form. 87 swipes at her so-called office while claiming to work late. Numbers, not suspicion, now dictated the story. When you remove the interpretation, what remains is undeniable, and it reframes everything. I placed the printout on the table one evening. No preamble, no accusation in my voice. Just paper, still warm from the printer. She glanced up, and I watched her face shift before she could speak. White, taut, impossible to disguise. The air thickened with a silence that felt almost orchestrated by the universe itself, each second stretching longer than it should. She opened her mouth, hesitated, tried to frame it as misunderstanding, procedural necessity, coincidence. Every word measured, every explanation partial, leaving room for doubt but filling the room with tension. I didn't interrupt. I didn't ask for justification. My mind worked in the quiet space she left me, weighing each fragment against what I already knew. There was no anger here, only a slow, methodical recognition of reality. I realized as she faltered that the control I imagined she had was shifting. Not violently, not with yelling or confrontation, but subtly, irrevocably. The options narrowed. Her narrative was no longer the one shaping our reality. My role, long passive, became deliberate. I didn't need her confession. I didn't need an apology. I needed the facts to exist, and they now did, framed in black and white. The next step wasn't dramatic. It was procedural. HR and compliance, authority in its quietest, most unarguable form, confirmed the pattern. It wasn't vindictive. There was no personal satisfaction, just policy, rules, evidence, and the undeniable weight of proof. The moment it was documented outside our personal sphere, it became untouchable. Our private struggle was now a fact recognized externally. Authority had intervened, not to punish, but to establish certainty. That certainty replaced doubt. At home, things changed gradually. The collapse wasn't explosive. Separate rooms, scheduled conversations, careful civility. No one screamed, no one stormed. The marriage deteriorated not in drama, but in the ordinary, quiet logic of what cannot be rebuilt. I regained my dignity, not through revenge, but through clarity. I had aligned perception with reality. I was no longer questioning myself, no longer trying to reconcile intuition with uncertainty. Yet the moral resolution was absent. There was no catharsis. I did not triumph in the traditional sense. She did not fall apart theatrically. The world simply acknowledged the truth, and we adjusted accordingly. Living with this knowledge came with its own weight. I was free from doubt, yes, but tethered to consequence. Emotional distance replaced intimacy. Control had shifted, subtly and irreversibly, without the need for spectacle or vindictive action. The evidence had replaced uncertainty. It had forced a choice between honesty and self-preservation, and she chose preservation. I observed, detached but fully present, as the choice defined us both. I had the power to confront, to question, to react, but I chose restraint, choosing instead to let external authority confirm what I already knew. This quiet, controlled strategy left me neither victorious nor vengeful. It left me intact, with the clarity that comes only from seeing reality unfiltered, even when the truth is painful. And so life continued in a fractured but steady rhythm. I slept alone most nights, my mind free of doubt, but occupied with the awareness that certainty carries its own cost. She moved through her days with a professional facade, knowing her actions were documented beyond her control. I moved through mine with quiet dignity, holding a strange relief in place of anger, a recognition that sometimes the most decisive victories are invisible, procedural, and completely devoid of spectacle. The moment the numbers replaced imagination, everything changed. No speeches, no confrontation, no public unraveling, just clarity, consequence, and the slow, inevitable reshaping of a life once shared.